Chosen one, why are you still awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, feeling like God forgot your address? Why does every door you approach slam shut just as your fingers touch the handle? Why do you carry this ache in your chest, this knowing that something massive is supposed to happen in your life, but it feels like you're running out of time? Stop, right there. What if I told you that every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you've whispered, "God, where are you?" has been building toward one singular moment in time? What if I told you that the 1st of September isn't just another date on your calendar, it's the combination to a vault that's been sealed over your life for decades? Listen to me carefully, beloved. The 1st of September is not a date, it's a doorway. It's the curtain being ripped open between what was and what's about to be. It's the moment heaven stops whispering and starts roaring over your situation. Picture this. You're standing before a massive vault, steel walls 10 feet thick, combination locks that haven't moved in years. Inside that vault, every promise God ever made to you, every blessing that got delayed, every breakthrough that seemed impossible, and at midnight on the 1st of September, you hear it. Click, click, click. The lock is opening. Here's what's going to shock you to your core. God didn't forget you during those dark valleys. He was positioning you. Every tear you cried at 3 a.m. collected. Every whispered prayer when you thought nobody was listening, recorded. Every rejection that crushed your spirit, redirected toward this moment, the 1st of September, the day heaven cracks open over your life. Before we go deeper into this mystery, before I reveal the prophetic pattern hidden in the 1st of September that will change how you see every delay in your life, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and plant that seed of faith. But right now, if something in your spirit is stirring, if you feel that electric recognition that this word was written for you, I need you to do something. Type "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Don't just think it, declare it. Speak it out loud where you're sitting, because that's not just a comment, that's your covenant with heaven, that you're aligned for what's about to unfold. The 1st of September, chosen one, the day God stops holding back what's been yours all along. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal about the prophetic significance of this date will explain why your breakthrough had to wait until now, and why everything changes in just days. The vault is about to open. Are you ready to receive what's inside? How many mornings have you opened your eyes at 5 a.m., not because you wanted to, but because sleep abandoned you somewhere between worry and wonder? How many times have you sat in your favorite chair, staring at a phone that doesn't ring, waiting for children who've grown too busy for the woman who gave them life? How many nights have you whispered into the darkness, "God, are you still there?" Only to be answered by the sound of your own heartbeat echoing in the silence. Dear chosen one, you've been living in the waiting room of heaven, and let me tell you something about waiting rooms. They're designed to make you question everything. The magazines are from 2019. The clock on the wall ticks like a countdown to nowhere, and you start wondering if the receptionist forgot your name entirely. You've been sitting there so long, your bones have memorized the shape of that uncomfortable chair. But this isn't just any waiting room. This is God's waiting room. And the appointment you've been waiting for isn't with a doctor or a lawyer, it's with destiny itself. I know exactly where you are right now, beloved. You're 68, maybe 75, perhaps 82 years old, and the world has convinced you that your best chapters are closed books. Your arthritis reminds you every morning that your body isn't what it used to be. Your bank account whispers lies about scarcity, while medical bills pile up like autumn leaves you're too tired to rake. You remember when your house was full of voices, when grandchildren ran through these halls, when holidays meant chaos and laughter instead of silence and memories. Now you eat dinner alone, watching the evening news, tell you about a world that feels foreign, dangerous, spinning away from everything you once recognized. Your children call, if they call, with distracted voices and hurried conversations. "How are you doing, Mom?" they ask. But you can hear them typing, multitasking, already moving on to their next appointment while you're still forming your answer. They love you, but they've inherited the curse of this generation. Busy, busy, always busy, until the woman who taught them to walk becomes a checkbox on their weekly to-do list. And the prayers, oh, the prayers you've whispered, prayers for healing that hasn't come, prayers for provision that seems delayed, prayers for your prodigal son to come home, for your daughter to find her way back to church, for grandchildren to know Jesus the way you taught their parents. How many rosary beads have you worn smooth? How many times have you knelt beside your bed until your knees screamed, pouring out your heart to a heaven that sometimes feels locked up tighter than Fort Knox? People walked past your life and said, "Where is your God now?" They looked at your struggles and whispered, "If she's so blessed, why is she so broken?" But you held on, through the cancer scare, through burying your husband, through watching your retirement savings evaporate in a market crash that stole your golden years. You held on when holding on was the only thing left to do. You know what Sarah felt at 89 years old, don't you? 90 years of empty arms and a silent womb. 90 years of watching younger women rock their babies while she rocked her broken heart. The neighborhood women stopped asking when she'd have children. They'd given up hope for her before she gave up hope for herself. But Genesis 21:6 tells us that when Isaac finally came, Sarah laughed and said, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." Your Isaac moment is coming, chosen one. Your laughter is being prepared. Think about Job, prosperous, righteous, faithful, until everything was stripped away in what felt like a cosmic conspiracy. His children, dead. His wealth, gone. His health, destroyed. His wife looked at his boil-covered body and said, "Curse God and die." Even his closest friends became his cruelest accusers. But Job 23:10 became his anchor. "When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." You've been in the furnace, haven't you? The fire that was supposed to consume you instead refined you. Every loss taught you what couldn't be taken. Every disappointment revealed what couldn't be destroyed. Every betrayal showed you who really stands when the storms come. And Joseph, 17 years old with dreams of greatness, only to spend 13 years in slavery and prison. 13 years of people walking past his cell, convinced his visions were the fantasies of a broken man. The other prisoners probably mocked him. Where are those dreams of ruling now? But Genesis 50:20 tells us the secret. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Every betrayal was positioning. Every rejection was redirection. Every closed door was divine protection from something that would have destroyed the very destiny they were trying to deny. You feel forgotten, but you're being prepared. You feel abandoned, but you're being positioned. Every unanswered prayer has been building pressure for an explosion of blessing that will shock everyone who counted you out. The waiting room is about to empty out, beloved. The receptionist is about to call your name, but not just any name, your real name, the one written in the Lamb's Book of Life, the one that's been echoing through the corridors of heaven while you sat in that uncomfortable chair wondering if anyone remembered you were there. If you've ever wondered, "Lord, do you still see me?" If you've ever questioned whether your name is still on the list, type yes in the comments right now. Heaven sees you tonight. Angels are taking attendance, and your name is about to be called in a way that will make everyone who doubted you stop and stare. Because the 1st of September isn't just the end of your waiting room experience. It's the beginning of your appointment with the impossible. And you're about to discover exactly why every delay was actually divine timing preparing you for what's about to unfold. Chosen one, let me tell you something that's going to shatter every lie the enemy has whispered in your ear about timing. September, the 9th month. In God's divine mathematics, 9 is the number of birthing, of completion, of bringing forth what's been hidden in the womb of waiting. 9 months a mother carries life before delivery. 9 is when heaven says, now it's time. But here's where it gets supernatural. The 1st of September, the first day of the 9th month. 1, the number of new beginnings, fresh starts, divine interventions. When you combine 9 and 1, you get the birth of the new and the opening of the unseen. This isn't coincidence, beloved. This is cosmic alignment. Every rejection you've faced, every door that slammed shut, every time someone looked at your dreams and laughed, what if I told you that wasn't the universe being cruel? What if every no in your life was heaven's strategic setup for the 1st of September stays earth-shaking yes? Think about Joseph, 17 years old with dreams so big his own brothers wanted to kill him. They threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery, watched him disappear into Egypt thinking they'd buried his destiny forever. For 13 years, 13 long, brutal years, Joseph sat in chains. Potiphar's house, then Potiphar's prison, forgotten by the very people he'd helped. The cupbearer walked free and never looked back. Can you imagine those nights? Can you feel the weight of betrayal crushing his chest, his brother's laughter echoing in his ears? The dreams that once felt so real now seeming like childhood fantasies. Joseph probably wondered if God had abandoned him, if he'd misheard the voice, if he was destined to die unknown in a foreign land. But listen to me carefully. In Genesis 41 to 14, everything changed in a single morning. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. Hastily, not slowly, not gradually, hastily, from prisoner to prime minister in one day, from forgotten to favored in one conversation, from the pit to the palace in one divine appointment. That's what the 1st of September represents for you, your hastily moment, your single-day transformation, your from prison to palace miracle. But Joseph's story isn't unique. Look at Job. This man lost everything, his children, his wealth, his health. His own wife told him to curse God and die. His friends accused him of secret sins. For months, he sat in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, wondering why a righteous God would allow such devastation. But here's what breaks my heart and builds my faith at the same time. Job 42:10 says, "And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before." Twice as much, double for his trouble, not just restoration multiplication. Your the 1st of September isn't just about getting back what you lost. It's about receiving double the blessing, double the breakthrough, double the vindication. God doesn't just restore, He multiplies what the enemy tried to steal. Right now, I need you to do something that's going to sound crazy, but could change everything. Stand up wherever you are. I don't care if people are watching. I don't care if you're 80 years old and your knees hurt. Stand up and say it loud enough for heaven to hear. The 1st of September is my new beginning. Say it again, louder this time. Let your voice shake the walls. Let your declaration disturb the demons that have been whispering lies about your expiration date. The 1st of September is my new beginning. Now sit down, grab a pen, write it down. Write today's date and these words. The 1st of September, my prison door opens, my palace door swings wide. That's not just writing, that's prophetic documentation. That's your agreement with heaven's timetable. Here's the revelation that's going to blow your mind. Your suffering wasn't random. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't God forgetting about you or being cruel to His child. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you felt forgotten, it was all synchronized to this prophetic day, the 1st of September. You've been like a woman in labor. The pain wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to deliver something. And the 1st of September is your delivery day. The contractions of disappointment, the labor pains of rejection, the pushing through seasons that felt impossible, it's all been preparing you for the birth of your breakthrough. But here's what the enemy fears most about the 1st of September. He knows that when your season shifts, when your prison doors fly open, When your double portion starts flowing, other people are going to see it. They're going to witness what happens when God decides enough is enough. They're going to watch in stunned silence as everything that looked dead in your life suddenly springs to supernatural life. Your enemies will have to admit they underestimated the God you serve. Your doubters will choke on their words. Your critics will become converts when they see the magnitude of what heaven releases over your life. The 1st of September isn't just your personal breakthrough, it's God's public demonstration that He still keeps His promises, that He still turns prisons into palaces, that He still gives double for trouble. But here's the question burning in the throne room of heaven right now. When the 1st of September arrives, when the vault clicks open, when your hastily moment manifests, will you be ready to receive what you've been praying for, or will you still be stuck in prison mentality, unable to walk into palace provision? Chosen one, let me ask you something that's going to cut deep into your soul. How many doors have slammed in your face this year alone? That promotion they gave to someone half as qualified as you, that phone call from your adult child that never came, that diagnosis the doctor said would never change, that bank loan they denied even though you've been faithful for 30 years. You're sitting there right now, aren't you? Counting the rejections like rosary beads of disappointment, each no echoing in your chest like a death sentence to your dreams, each closed door feeling like God's final answer to your desperate prayers. But what if I told you those weren't doors at all? What if I told you they were locks, massive, ancient locks that only heaven holds the key to? Listen to me carefully, beloved. Every slammed door in your life, the job you didn't get, the child who stopped calling, the healing that seems just out of reach, these weren't rejections. They were divine protection. They were God saying, "Not yet, my child." The door I'm preparing to open for you is so massive, so overwhelming, so supernatural, that if I opened it too early, it would crush you. Think about Moses standing at the Red Sea, 2 million people behind him, screaming in terror. Pharaoh's army charging forward with murder in their eyes, the impossible waters stretching endlessly ahead. Every natural door was slammed shut, every escape route was blocked. Moses stood there facing the most locked situation in human history. But watch this. Moses didn't try to break down the door. He didn't pound his fists against the circumstances. Scripture tells us in Exodus 14:13, Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." He praised God in the face of the impossible. And the sea didn't just part, it exploded open like a liquid cathedral, walls of water, standing at attention for the chosen ones to walk through. The lock wasn't opened by force, it was opened by faith. Paul and Silas knew about locked doors too, beaten until their backs were hamburger meat, thrown into the deepest, darkest prison cell they could find, feet locked in stocks, iron bars sealing their fate. At midnight, the darkest hour when hope should have been dead, what did they do? They started singing, they started praising, and God started shaking. Acts 16:26 records what happened next. Suddenly, there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open, and everyone's chains came loose. Not just their door, chosen one, every door. Not just their chains, every chain. When God moves, He doesn't do it halfway. But here's what's going to shock you to your absolute core. The enemy has been whispering lies in your ear for years. He's told you that door was locked because you weren't good enough. That opportunity was denied because God doesn't love you the same way He loves others. That your season has passed, your time is over, your chance is gone. Those are lies straight from the pit of hell. The enemy said you'd never get through. He said your financial struggles would destroy you. He said your family would never be restored. He said your health would never return. He said your dreams were too big, your faith too small, your prayers too late. But the 1st of September is the master key. The 1st of September is when God looks at every lock the enemy has placed over your life and says, "Time's up." You want to know why the 1st of September? Because it's the first day of the 9th month, And 9 is the number of divine completion in Scripture. 9 months in the womb before birth. 9 fruits of the Spirit. Jesus died at the 9th hour to complete our salvation. Your waiting season is about to birth something miraculous. Right now, if you believe God holds your key, if something in your spirit is confirming that your locked doors are about to explode, drop a B0 in the comments. That's not just an emoji. That's your declaration to heaven that you're ready for the unlocking. But let me paint you a picture that's going to make your soul tremble with anticipation. Picture this. It's the 1st of September. You're standing in front of that same door that's been locked for years, maybe decades. The door to financial freedom, the door to family restoration, the door to supernatural healing, the door to your divine destiny. Suddenly, you hear footsteps, heavy, powerful, unmistakable footsteps approaching from the other side. The ground begins to shake, the walls begin to tremble, and then you realize those aren't just footsteps. That's the sound of the Almighty God of the universe walking toward your situation with a key ring that holds every solution you've ever needed. But he doesn't just unlock your door, chosen one. He kicks it clean off the hinges. The door that kept you out, kept you down, kept you wondering if your season would ever come. God doesn't just open it. He obliterates it so completely that everyone who said impossible will have to eat those words. Can you feel it? That's the sound of breakthrough, building pressure in the spiritual realm. That's the sound of every lock clicking open in perfect divine sequence. That's the sound of the 1st of September, roaring toward you like a freight train loaded with everything heaven has been holding back. The question isn't whether God can unlock your doors. The question is, when he does, will you be ready to walk through what's been waiting for you on the other side? Because what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly what's been locked away, waiting for your arrival. But you know what breaks my heart right now? It's when I look at you, chosen one, and I see you apologizing for your age. I see you hiding behind words like, I'm too old and my time has passed. I watch you cover your wrinkles like they're marks of shame, instead of what they really are, maps of survival. Look at your hands right now. Really look at them. Those aren't just hands that have gotten older. Those are hands that have buried loved ones and still learned to love again. Those are hands that have signed divorce papers and still believed in marriage. Those are hands that have counted pennies when the bank account was empty and still tithed to God. Every line on your face tells a story of a battle you won. Every gray hair is a trophy of a storm you survived. Every scar on your heart is proof that you bled, but you didn't die. You think those wrinkles are weakness? Dear soul, those wrinkles are your credentials. They're heaven's way of saying, this one has been tested, this one has been tried, this one has been refined by fire and came out gold. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will shatter every lie the enemy has whispered about your worth. Job 23:10 declares, when he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Not silver, not bronze, gold. The most precious, most valuable, most refined metal on earth. You know why gold is so valuable? Because it can only be purified by fire. You can't refine gold with gentle heat. You can't purify it with warm water. It takes furnace-level temperatures 1948 degrees Fahrenheit to burn away every impurity and reveal what's precious underneath. That depression that nearly killed you in your 50s, that was 1948 degrees. That betrayal that left you questioning everything you believed about people, that was the furnace. That diagnosis that made you wonder if God was punishing you, that was the refining fire burning away everything that wasn't essential, everything that wasn't gold. You survived storms that sank ships with younger crews. You endured losses that would have broken people half your age. You faced betrayals that should have made you bitter, but somehow miraculously you're still here, still trusting, still believing. That's not coincidence. That's divine design. But here's what the world doesn't understand about fire. It doesn't destroy what God wants to keep. It only burns away what was never meant to last. That fear that used to control you, the fire burned it away. That need for everyone's approval, gone. That desperation to fit in with people who never understood your calling, ashes. What remained? Pure gold, unshakable faith, tested love, proven character. The Bible says in 1 Peter 1-7 that your faith is more precious than gold that perishes. More precious than gold. You're not just valuable, chosen one. You're priceless. Stop looking at your reflection and seeing decline. Start seeing what heaven sees: a warrior who's been through hell and came out praising God. A survivor who's been refined by pain and purified by pressure. A living testimony that God's grace is sufficient. His strength is made perfect in weakness. You want to know why you're still here when others didn't make it? Because God wasn't finished refining you. Every year you thought was wasted was actually another layer of impurity being burned away. Every tear you cried was liquid gold being extracted from the ore of your experience. That's why your prayers carry different weight now. That's why your words of encouragement have power to heal wounded hearts. That's why younger generations are drawn to your wisdom. They can sense the gold in you, even when you can't see it yourself. The fire didn't burn you, beloved. It branded you. It marked you as God's own precious metal. And now, on the 1st of September, the world is about to see what fire does to gold. It makes it shine. You know what I need you to do right now? I need you to lift your hand where you are. I don't care if you're in your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom. Lift that hand and declare with me, the fire didn't burn me, it branded me. I am refined gold in the hands of the Almighty. Say it louder. Say it until the doubt dies. Say it until the shame shrinks. Say it until hell backs off and heaven takes notice. Because that fire that tried to consume you, it was actually preparing you for the 1st of September. It was building your capacity to receive what's coming. It was strengthening your spiritual muscles to carry the weight of the glory that's about to be revealed. You're not fading, chosen one. You're not declining. You're not past your prime. You're refined gold, and gold doesn't lose value with age. It becomes more precious. You're aged wine, and the older it gets, the more valuable it becomes. The scars you carry aren't marks of defeat, they're evidence of victory. The pain you've endured isn't proof of God's absence, it's proof of His presence. Because only someone walking with the Almighty could survive what tried to destroy you and still be standing here, still believing, still ready to receive everything God has prepared. But here's what's going to shock you about the 1st of September. It's not just about receiving what you've been waiting for. It's about the world finally seeing what fire produces when it meets faith. And dear one, what they're about to witness will leave them speechless. Listen to me, chosen one. I need to tell you about a young Jewish girl who thought her life was over before it began. Her name was Esther, and she was living in exile, an orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai in a foreign land that despised everything about her bloodline. Can you imagine her pain? Can you feel her confusion? Here she was, carrying the DNA of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, yet living as a nobody in Babylon. Sound familiar? How many nights have you lain awake wondering if God made a mistake with your life? How many times have you looked in the mirror and seen nothing but wasted years, missed opportunities, dreams that died before they could breathe? But here's what Esther didn't know, and here's what you don't know either. Every rejection was redirection. Every closed door was divine protection. Every moment she felt forgotten, heaven was positioning her for the most critical assignment in Jewish history. The Persian king needed a new queen. Out of millions of women in the empire, guess who got chosen? The orphan girl, the exile, the one who felt invisible. But it wasn't luck, beloved. It was appointment. God had been moving chess pieces across the board of eternity to position one broken girl in the right palace at the right time for the right crisis. Because here's what happened next that will shatter everything you think you know about timing. A wicked man named Haman deceived the king into signing a death decree against all Jews. Every man, woman, and child of Hebrew blood would be slaughtered on a single day. The chosen people, God's covenant children, faced complete annihilation. And where was their deliverer? Sitting in a palace, wearing a crown, married to the very king who signed their death warrant. Do you see the impossible situation? Esther couldn't reveal her Jewish identity without risking her own life. But she couldn't stay silent while her people perished. That's when Mordecai sent her the words that echo through eternity. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? For such a time as this. Not for easier times, not for convenient times, for this exact moment when everything looks impossible, when the odds are stacked against you, when one wrong move could cost you everything you've worked for. You think you're too old for God to use you? Esther could have died for speaking up. You think you've made too many mistakes? She was living a lie, hiding her true identity. You think your situation is too complicated. She had to choose between saving herself or saving her people. But here's what happened when she finally said yes to her such a time as this moment. She fasted. She prayed. She walked into the king's throne room uninvited, knowing it could mean death. And the king, the same man who could have executed her on the spot, extended his golden scepter and asked, "What is your request? Even up to half my kingdom, it will be given to you." One conversation, one moment of courage, one yes to God's timing changed the entire course of history. Not only were the Jews saved, but Haman, their enemy, was hanged on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. The decree of death became a day of celebration that Jewish people still observe today as Purim. Now let me ask you something that's going to cut deep into your spirit. What if everything you've been through, every betrayal, every financial struggle, every health scare, every sleepless night, what if it's all been positioning for your such a time as this moment? What if the 1st of September isn't just another date, but your divine appointment with destiny? You are not here by accident, beloved. You didn't survive what should have destroyed you by luck. You didn't keep breathing through the valleys by chance. God has been preparing you, positioning you, purifying you for the 1st of September, your Esther moment. But here's what terrifies me. What if you miss it? What if fear convinces you to stay silent when God is calling you to speak? What if doubt persuades you to play it safe when heaven is demanding you step into the throne room of your breakthrough? Esther almost missed her moment. When Mordecai first asked her to intercede, she said, "If I perish, I perish." But then she realized something that changed everything. She understood that her pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Her exile wasn't abandonment, it was appointment. Her brokenness wasn't disqualification, it was her credentials for the throne. Right now, as I'm speaking these words over your life, can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that electric recognition that this isn't just another Bible story, this is your story. The 1st of September is approaching like a freight train carrying your destiny, and heaven is asking you the same question. Mordecai asked Esther, "Will you step up for such a time as this?" Because what God is about to release on the 1st of September will shock everyone who counted you out. I'm talking about health restoration that makes doctors scratch their heads. I'm talking about financial breakthrough that comes from sources you never imagined. I'm talking about family reconciliation that seems impossible with human logic. I'm talking about renewed faith that burns brighter in your 70s than it ever did in your 20s. But you have to say yes. You have to stop hiding behind, "I'm too old," or "I'm not qualified," or "God could never use someone like me." Esther felt the same way, but she chose courage over comfort, purpose over protection, destiny over security. Type for such a time as this in the comments right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now. That's not just a comment, that's your covenant with heaven. That's your yes to God's timing. That's you stepping into the throne room of your breakthrough. But what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly what specific miracles God has scheduled for the 1st of September and why missing this moment could cost you everything you've been praying for. Chosen one, I need you to stop everything right now and listen to what I'm about to tell you. Because what's happening on the 1st of September isn't just another breakthrough promise. This is the collision of heaven and earth over your life. And if you blink, if you hesitate for even 1 second, you could miss the greatest supernatural intervention of your lifetime. For 70, 80, maybe 90 years, you've been carrying debt that choked your dreams, medical bills that stalked you like predators, credit cards that whispered your name in the dark. You've robbed Peter to pay Paul so many times you forgot which saint owed what. You've laid awake calculating pennies while billionaires slept in peace. But the 1st of September, the floodgates of provision crack open over your bank account. Listen to me. Deuteronomy 8:18 declares, He gives you power to get wealth. Not the power to beg, not the power to barely survive, the power to get wealth. And on the 1st of September, that power doesn't just activate, it explodes over your financial situation like Niagara Falls breaking through a dam. Unexpected checks will arrive. Debts you thought would follow you to the grave will suddenly disappear. Provision will flow from sources you never imagined, through people who don't even know your name. The same God who fed 5,000 with a boy's lunch is about to multiply what's in your hands until you can't contain it. On the 1st of September, every chain of poverty snaps in half. But your money problems aren't the only thing dying on the 1st of September. That arthritis that's been your unwelcome companion for 20 years, that exhaustion that settles in your bones like winter fog, that medication list longer than a grocery receipt, all of it bows to the name of Jesus on September 1st. Isaiah 40:31 promises, They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Eagles, chosen one, not sparrows hobbling on the ground, not wounded birds dragging broken wings. Eagles soaring at 30,000 feet, seeing clearly, flying powerfully, living fully. On the 1st of September, strength surges through your body like lightning through copper wire. Energy you haven't felt in decades will pulse through your veins. That walker gathering dust in the corner, you might not need it anymore. Those pills rattling in your medicine cabinet, some of them are about to become obsolete. The same God who healed the woman bent over for 18 years is about to straighten what's been crooked in your body. On the 1st of September, every chain of sickness shatters into dust. But here's where it gets supernatural. Here's where heaven stops playing small and starts showing off. Your spirit, that joy they stole from you. When your spouse passed away, that peace they shattered. When the doctors gave you bad news, that hope they buried under 40 years of disappointment. It's about to erupt like Old Faithful, after being dormant for decades. Psalm 30:5 declares, Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Your night of weeping has lasted too long, beloved, but the 1st of September is your morning. Joy isn't trickling back, it's exploding back. Peace isn't creeping back, it's thundering back. Hope isn't whispering back, it's roaring back with the force of 10,000 angels. On the 1st of September, every chain of depression breaks forever. Can you see it? Can you feel it building? Heaven's vault is creaking open right now. The same vault that's held your breakthrough captive for decades. The locks are turning, the seals are breaking, and your name is written in letters of fire on the release order. The 1st of September, the floodgates of heaven burst open over your life. The 1st of September, every door they said would never open explodes off its hinges. The 1st of September, the world sees a glow on your face they can't explain, a strength in your step they can't understand, a joy in your voice that defies every reason they think you should be defeated. You've been asking God, when will my breakthrough come? But I hear the Spirit of the living God declaring over your life right now, your breakthrough isn't coming, it's here. It's not approaching, it's arriving. It's not scheduled, it's activated. The 1st of September is the day heaven stops holding back what's been yours all along. The day every prayer you whispered in the dark gets answered in the light. The day every tear you cried in secret becomes a river of blessing flowing publicly through your life. But here's what's going to shock. Everyone who counted you out, everyone who wrote your obituary while you were still breathing, everyone who said your best days were behind you. This isn't just personal revival, this is generational transformation. What breaks loose over your life on the 1st of September doesn't just affect you, it rewrites your family tree for the next 100 years. Your grandchildren will benefit from prayers you prayed before they were born. Your great-grandchildren will inherit blessing from battles you fought in secret. The 1st of September isn't just your day, it's your dynasty's day. The question that will determine everything, the question that will separate those who receive from those who merely hope, is this. When the 1st of September dawns and heaven's floodgates burst open over your life, will you be ready to receive what you've been praying for? Because ready or not, chosen one, the 1st of September is coming, and everything changes. Listen, do you hear that? That's the sound of silence. The kind that settles over your life like a heavy blanket at 3 a.m. when you're on your knees, whispering prayers into what feels like empty air. The kind that makes you wonder if God's phone went straight to voicemail. The kind that makes your faith feel like foolishness. But before the orchestra plays its first note, the silence feels endless. The conductor raises his baton, and for that eternal moment, nothing happens. The audience holds its breath. The musicians tense their fingers, and in that vacuum of sound, anticipation builds to a breaking point. But in heaven's score, beloved, silence is never absence. It's the pause before the trumpet. How many of you have lived through seasons where God felt silent, where your prayers bounced off the ceiling like rubber balls, where you cried out for breakthrough and heard only the echo of your own desperation? You've laid in bed wondering if you imagined His voice. You've questioned if those promises were real or just wishful thinking. You've stared at your bank account, your medical reports, your empty house and whispered, "God, where are you?" I know that silence. I know it intimately. It's the silence that follows a funeral when everyone goes home and you're left with memories and questions. It's the silence after the divorce papers are signed and the house feels cavernous. It's the silence when your children stop calling and your grandchildren become strangers. It's the silence when your body betrays you and doctors speak in whispers. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand about silence. Here's what hell fights to keep hidden from you. Psalm 46:10 declares, "Be still and know that I am God." Not be still and wonder if I exist. Not be still and question my faithfulness. Be still and know that silence you've been drowning in, it wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. While you thought God was absent, He was positioning every piece of your breakthrough. While you felt forgotten, He was orchestrating your the 1st of September moment. Every silent night was Him tuning the instruments of heaven for your symphony. Think about Jesus in that tomb for 3 days. 3 days of absolute silence. No angelic choir, no heavenly light, no divine intervention, just cold stone and death's victory dance. The disciples thought it was over. Mary wept at an empty cross. Even hell celebrated. But God wasn't sleeping. He was counting down to resurrection morning. Your silence has been your tomb time, but the 1st of September is your Easter Sunday. Listen to this rhythm. Let it sink into your bones. Silence isn't absence. Silence is preparation. Silence isn't abandonment. Silence is preparation. Silence isn't punishment. Silence is prophecy. You see, chosen one, God doesn't speak just to fill the air with noise. He speaks when His words can accomplish what they were sent to accomplish. Isaiah 55:11 promises, "My word shall not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it." Your silence wasn't empty space. It was pregnant pause. Every tear you cried in that silence was seed planted in heavenly soil. Every prayer you whispered was being woven into a tapestry you couldn't see. Every night you held on when letting go would have been easier was building the foundation for what's about to explode in your life. But here's what's going to break your heart wide open. Some of you have been living in silence so long you've forgotten what your own voice sounds like. You've been quiet for so many years that you've convinced yourself you have nothing left to say. You've accepted the silence as normal, permanent, final. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Your voice is about to be restored with thunder. Your testimony is about to shake foundations. Your praise is about to bring down strongholds that have stood for generations. Because silence isn't your destination, beloved. It's your launch pad. Moses spent 40 years in silence tending sheep before God spoke from a burning bush. David wrote his most powerful psalms in caves while running from Saul. Joseph interpreted dreams from a prison cell. Paul wrote letters that changed the world from a Roman dungeon. Your silence isn't evidence that you're finished. It's proof that you're being refined for something so powerful that it required this level of preparation. The prophet Habakkuk cried out, "How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen?" But God answered, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." The 1st of September isn't delayed. It's precisely on time, according to heaven's calendar. Right now, in this moment, I need to know who's been walking through the valley of silence but refused to surrender. Who's been praying into what felt like void but kept believing anyway? Who's been carrying faith like a dying ember but never let it go completely out? If you've ever lived through silence but refused to quit, type "I held on" right now. You are the reason this word is being spoken. You are the ones the 1st of September was marked for. You are the orchestra members who stayed in position during the endless pause, waiting for the conductor's signal. Because what's coming next is going to explain why your silence had to be this deep, this long, this complete. What's coming next is going to reveal the prophetic pattern that makes every unanswered prayer suddenly make sense. The silence is about to break, chosen one, and when it does, the sound will echo through eternity. You want to know why your breakthrough feels so close you can taste it, yet so far you want to scream. You want to know why that promise God whispered to you 20 years ago still echoes in your chest like thunder you can't silence. You want to know why the 1st of September carries a weight that makes your spirit tremble. Because heaven is a courtroom, beloved, and the 1st of September is the day your case is finally called. Picture this scene with me. The marble floors of eternity stretch endlessly before the throne of the Most High. The air itself hums with glory so thick you could walk on it. And there you are, not your flesh and blood body, but your eternal case file, thick with decades of documentation. Every 3 a.m. tear when you couldn't pay the rent. Every whispered prayer when the doctor delivered devastating news. Every moment you fell to your knees and cried out, "God, how much longer?" Your tears, they weren't just salt water hitting your pillow, they were evidence. Cold, hard evidence of faith under fire, of trust when trust made no sense, of worship in the wasteland when everyone else would have walked away. Your prayers, they weren't just words disappearing into darkness, they were testimony. Each desperate plea, each grateful whisper, each broken hallelujah, rising like incense before the throne, building your case in the courts of heaven. And your faith? That stubborn, illogical, impossible faith that refused to die even when everything around you was dying. That was your final defense. The proof that even when you couldn't see God's hand, you never stopped believing in God's heart. The Apostle John saw this very moment in Revelation 5-8. Listen to these words. "The 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. Each one had a harp, and they were holding golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of God's holy people." Golden bowls, chosen one, not plastic cups, not paper containers, golden bowls, because your prayers are precious metal in heaven's economy. Every prayer you thought went unanswered has been carefully collected, stored, treasured in vessels of pure gold. But here's what's going to shock you. Here's what's going to make you fall to your knees right where you're sitting. Those bowls, they're full, overflowing, spilling over the edges with decades of your faithfulness. You've been wondering why nothing seemed to happen when you prayed. You've been questioning if God even heard you when you called out in desperation. But God wasn't ignoring your prayers, He was storing them. He wasn't delaying your answers, He was building compound interest on your faithfulness. The 1st of September is the day heaven tips those golden bowls over your life. Think about Noah's flood. The rain didn't start as a gentle drizzle. The windows of heaven opened, and water crashed down with the force of divine judgment and divine mercy colliding in the same moment. That's what's about to happen to you, but instead of water, it's every blessing that's been dammed up behind heaven's timing. Your financial breakthrough isn't trickling down slowly, it's a flood. Your health restoration isn't happening gradually, it's instantaneous. Your family reconciliation isn't going to take months, it's going to happen so fast it'll leave you breathless. But why the 1st of September? Why not yesterday? Why not next month? Why not 10 years ago when you first started begging for relief? Because God's justice operates on different mathematics than human impatience. He doesn't just answer prayers, he orchestrates symphony. He doesn't just move in your situation, he moves in perfect timing that connects your breakthrough to someone else's blessing, your miracle to someone else's healing, your victory to someone else's deliverance. Every delay wasn't denial. Every postponement wasn't punishment. Every time you whispered, "God, what's taking so long?" Heaven was responding. We're waiting for the perfect moment when every piece falls into place. Nothing was wasted, beloved. Nothing. That scar from the betrayal that nearly destroyed you? It's evidence of your capacity to forgive. That financial ruin that left you eating beans from a can? It's proof of your ability to trust God when everything else fails. That diagnosis that made you face your mortality? It's testimony to your faith in the God who holds tomorrow. Every sigh you breathed in exhaustion, every scar you carry from battles others never saw, every moment you chose to keep going when giving up would have been easier. All of it has been stored for this day. The enemy thought he was breaking you down. God was building you up. The world thought you were falling apart. Heaven knew you were being refined. Your critics thought you were finished. Your Creator knew you were just getting started. But here's the question that's burning in the courtroom of eternity right now. When the judge of all creation stands and declares, "Release the blessing," when those golden bowls tip and decades of answered prayer come flooding into your reality, will you be ready to receive what you've been praying for? What happens when heaven tips the bowl? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal about the magnitude of what's stored up for you will shake your spirit to the core. If you believe your prayers are about to overflow, if you can feel those golden bowls trembling on the edge of tipping, write "The bowls are tipping" in the comments right now. Because the courtroom is packed, the evidence has been presented, and the judge is reaching for his gavel. Your case isn't just about to be called, it's about to be decided in your favor. Chosen one, I need you to stop everything you're doing right now and listen to what I'm about to tell you, because what happened to you wasn't random. What broke your heart wasn't meaningless. What shattered your dreams wasn't the end of your story. It was the setup. Look at me. Every rejection you've faced is about to become recognition. Every betrayal that left you bleeding is about to become blessing. Every delay that made you question God's timing is about to become divine acceleration. But you have to understand something that's going to shake you to your core. God doesn't just fix broken things, beloved. He reverses them into miracles. Think about Joseph, 17 years old with dreams of greatness, only to be thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold like cattle, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, forgotten in Pharaoh's dungeon for years. Every single person who knew his story wrote him off. Poor Joseph, they whispered. Such potential, but look where he ended up. They thought it was the end, but it was the setup. One dream interpretation later, Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister in 24 hours. Not just promoted, beloved, reversed. The very brothers who betrayed him came crawling on their knees, begging for the grain he controlled. Genesis 50 to 20 thunders across the centuries. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Your enemies thought they buried you. They don't know they planted you. But let me tell you about Job. This man lost everything. His children dead. His wealth gone. His health destroyed. His wife looked at him covered in boils and said, "Just curse God and die." His friends gathered around like vultures, convinced his suffering was punishment for secret sins. They thought it was failure, but it was foundation. When God restored Job, He didn't just give him back what he lost, he doubled it. Job 42:10 declares, "The Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before." Twice as much. That's not recovery, chosen one. That's reversal. That's God's mathematics when he decides to flip the script on your enemies. Every dollar they stole from you, coming back doubled. Every opportunity they blocked, God's opening too. Every door they slammed, heaven's kicking down walls you didn't even know existed. And Ruth, sweet Ruth, young widow with nothing but heartbreak, and an elderly mother-in-law named Naomi. No husband, no children, no inheritance, no future that anyone could see. The women in Bethlehem probably whispered, "Poor Ruth, so young to be so finished." They thought it was silence, but it was staging. Ruth's faithfulness in the barley fields caught the eye of Boaz, the wealthiest man in town. She went from gleaning scraps to owning the entire harvest. From widow to wife. From nobody to somebody whose name is written in the lineage of Jesus Christ himself. Matthew 1-5 records it for eternity. Boaz, the father of Obed by Ruth. Your season of picking up crumbs is over. You're about to own the field. But here's what's going to blow your mind about the 1st of September. Here's why this date is dripping with supernatural significance. September is the 9th month, and in Hebrew, 9 represents divine completion, the fullness of God's purpose. But the 1st of September, that's not just completion, beloved. That's commencement. It's graduation day from your valley into your victory. Every tear you've cried has been building pressure for an explosion of joy. Every prayer you've whispered in the dark has been accumulating interest in heaven's bank. Every moment you felt forgotten has been positioning you for recognition that will leave your doubters speechless. Listen to me carefully. The same God who reversed Joseph's pit into a palace, Job's ashes into abundance, Ruth's grief into glory, is looking at your situation right now and smiling, because he's about to show the world what happens when he decides to flip the script on someone's life. Your medical report says terminal, God says eternal. Your bank account says empty, heaven says overflow. Your family says finished. The Almighty says just getting started. Your age says too late. Your Creator says right on time. But I need you to do something right now that's going to align you with this reversal. I need you to declare it out loud, right where you're sitting. The 1st of September is my reversal. Say it again. The 1st of September is my reversal. Let your walls hear it. Let your doubt choke on it. Let hell itself tremble at the sound of your faith aligning with God's promise. Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. He's been working overtime to convince you that your setbacks were permanent. He's been whispering that your losses were final. He's been trying to make you believe that your chapter of pain was your last chapter. But that's a lie from the pit of hell. The 1st of September isn't just a date, chosen one. It's the day God stops playing defense and starts playing offense in your life. It's the moment he transforms every weapon formed against you into a tool for your triumph. It's when your testimony becomes so powerful that people who never believed in miracles start believing in the God who performs them. But the question burning in the throne room of heaven right now is this. When your reversal comes, when God flips your script so dramatically that your enemies have to admit his hand is on your life, will you be ready to steward the blessing? Or will you still be stuck in the mindset of your pain? Chosen one, let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. Right now, as you're listening to my voice, you think you're alone. You think it's just you and me having this conversation. But what if I told you that your living room, your bedroom, wherever you are right now, it's packed with witnesses you can't see, while you've been weeping alone at 2 a.m., wondering if anybody cares about your broken heart? Heaven has never been empty above you. When you fell to your knees in that hospital hallway after getting the diagnosis, when you sat in your car after the divorce papers were signed, when you stared at that eviction, notice wondering how you'd survive, you were never, ever alone. Angels stood guard at your bedside. Your pain had witnesses. Listen to me carefully, beloved. Every tear you've cried in secret, it fell on holy ground. Every whispered prayer you thought disappeared into silence. It echoed through corridors of light. Every moment you felt abandoned by God and man, heaven was mobilizing forces you couldn't see, building coalitions you couldn't imagine, orchestrating rescue missions that would make the D-Day invasion look like a neighborhood barbecue. Hebrews 12:1 declares something that will blow your mind. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Surrounded, not watched from a distance. Surrounded. Like a championship boxing match where the crowd presses in so close you can feel their breath, hear their heartbeat. That's your reality right now, chosen one. You're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses who've been cheering you on through every round, every knockout, every moment you thought about throwing in the towel. But here's where it gets personal. Here's where it hits home in ways that will make you weep and shout at the same time. Your grandmother, the one who raised you when nobody else would, who prayed over you every single night, who went to glory calling your name with her last breath, her prayers didn't die with her. They're still circling your life like protective satellites, still fighting for you, still interceding in ways that would make the angels weep if they weren't already overwhelmed by the power flowing from her lips. Your mother's faith, even if she wasn't perfect, even if she failed you in ways that left scars on your soul, that faith she carried for you when you couldn't carry it for yourself, it's still alive, still working, still believing for breakthroughs you gave up hoping for years ago. That pastor who laid hands on you when you were 17 and prophesied over your life. He's been gone 15 years, but his words are still creating reality in the spiritual realm. That Sunday school teacher who saw something in you when you saw nothing in yourself. Her investment is still paying dividends in dimensions you can't even comprehend. You want to know why you're still here, why you survived that car accident that should have killed you, why you walked away from that addiction that destroyed everyone else who touched it, why you're still breathing when the statistics said you should be 6 feet under. Because you've got backup, chosen one, invisible backup, supernatural backup, the kind of backup that makes hell nervous and causes demons to request transfers to easier assignments. But the 1st of September, oh, the 1st of September, that's when the invisible becomes visible. That's when the unseen allies step out of the shadows and into your reality. That's when the backup becomes the breakthrough. You see, there's something about that date that triggers what I call divine manifestation. It's when the spiritual realm crashes into the physical realm with such force that even your doubting neighbors will have to admit something supernatural happened in your life. Picture this. You've been fighting a battle for months, maybe years. You're exhausted, your resources are depleted, your strength is gone. But you don't know that just over the hill, just beyond your line of sight, the cavalry has been riding hard to reach you. And on the 1st of September, they crest that hill. The sound of hoofbeats, the thunder of reinforcements, the battle cry of heaven itself. Your enemies, those circumstances that have been tormenting you, those people who counted you out, those demons that whispered you'd never make it, they're about to discover what happens when someone with unseen allies finally gets their visible victory. Every closed door that broke your heart, your allies have been working on the hinges. Every relationship that betrayed you, your witnesses have been preparing better connections. Every financial crisis that left you desperate, your cloud of supporters has been moving heaven and earth to position resources you never saw coming. The phone call that changes everything, the check that arrives when your account hits zero, the healing that happens between Tuesday and Wednesday morning, the reconciliation that seemed impossible last week but feels inevitable by the 2nd of September. This isn't wishful thinking, beloved. This is warfare. This is strategy. This is what happens when the seen and unseen realms align on the same calendar date. But here's what's going to shock you most of all. Here's what's going to make you fall to your knees and weep tears of gratitude and wonder. Your allies aren't just fighting for your breakthrough, they're fighting for your legacy. They're not just working on your situation, they're working on your children's children. Because when God moves through generational curses on the 1st of September, He doesn't just free you, He frees bloodlines. If you believe angels stood with you in your darkest hour, if you know in your spirit that you've never been alone, type "I was never alone" right now. Declare it. Let your witnesses hear you acknowledge their presence. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly how these unseen allies will move on the 1st of September. I'm going to reveal the specific ways your grandmother's prayers will manifest, how your mother's faith will finally pay off, and why every person who ever believed in you is about to see their investment validated in living color. But first, you need to understand something that will change how you see every delay, every closed door, every moment when you thought God forgot about you. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to carry these truths with you like precious stones in your heart. Remember this, the 1st of September is not just another date circled on your calendar, it's your divine appointment with destiny. Every tear you've shed, every prayer you've whispered in the darkness, every moment you felt forgotten has been building toward this breakthrough. Your pain was never pointless. Your waiting was never wasted. Remember this. You are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, angels who've stood guard over your sleepless nights, loved ones whose prayers still circle your life like protective shields, and a God who has been orchestrating every detail for your good. The vault of heaven is creaking open, and what's been sealed for decades is about to pour out like a flood. And remember this most of all. You are not walking this journey alone. Even when the path feels dark and the destination unclear, there's a God who sees you, knows your name, and refuses to let your story end in defeat. He's been writing your comeback while the world was writing your obituary. But let me ask you something that will echo in your spirit long after this video ends. If God has brought you through every storm you've faced so far, if He's sustained you through valleys that should have swallowed you whole, if He's kept His promises even when you couldn't see His hand moving, what makes you think He'll abandon you now, just when your breakthrough is within reach? Right here, right now, I want you to know something beautiful. You're not just watching a video, you're part of a family. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, carrying the same calling, feeling the same stirring, walking the same narrow road that leads to supernatural breakthrough. We see you. We understand your journey. We're here to pray with you, believe with you, and celebrate when the 1st of September unfolds exactly as heaven has ordained. Before I release you into your destiny, let me place my hand on your shoulder through these words and pray over your life with the authority that comes from walking with God for decades. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul who has stayed with us through this entire message. Right now, in their living room, in their bedroom, wherever they are in this sacred moment, I pray that your presence would surround them like a warm embrace. Lord, you know their struggles, the bills that keep them awake at night, the relationships that need healing, the dreams they thought were dead, the health battles they're fighting in silence. Father, I declare that the 1st of September will mark the beginning of their supernatural turnaround. Breathe fresh hope into their weary hearts. Restore their faith where disappointment tried to kill it. Open doors that no man can shut. Provide resources from unexpected places. Send divine connections that will accelerate their purpose. Remove every obstacle that has blocked their blessing, and silence every voice that has spoken defeat over their future. God, surround them with your perfect peace tonight. Let them sleep knowing that you are working all things together for their good. And when the 1st of September dawns, let them wake to the first sunrise of their new season. Let them feel your smile, your approval, your deep love for who they are and who they're becoming. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer over their lives. Amen. Now, beloved, I need you to do something powerful. In the comments below, tell us one thing you're believing God for as the 1st of September approaches. Let this community surround you with prayer and agreement. Share your testimony of His faithfulness. Someone scrolling through these comments needs to hear your story. And please, Share this video with someone who's been praying for a sign. You might be the vessel God uses to deliver their answer. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Your faithfulness to watch until the very end tells me that God has marked you for something extraordinary. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join this family of chosen ones who refuse to give up on God's promises. Until we meet again in the next message, walk in the authority of who you are. The 1st of September is coming, and with it, everything changes. You are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond doubt, and destined for breakthrough beyond your wildest dreams. God bless you, chosen one. Your finest hour is just ahead.